it's been a different type of week this week. I know a lot of the attention, a lot of the news coverage, everything that we've been seeing has been about the verdict in the George Floyd case. For those who, at this point, you'd have to be living under a rock, are uninformed, Derek Chauvin was found guilty of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and one of the manslaughter charges. I can't remember which degree it was, though.
Like second.
Yeah, second-degree manslaughter for the killing of George Floyd. George Floyd was a black man that was killed in Minnesota last year. I think it's almost been a year at this point. I believe it was in either like late May, early June, one or the other. So yeah, it's been all over the news. It was all over Twitter the day that it happened. A verdict came out, and we all got a pleasant surprise. Unfortunately, we had to be surprised because we don't expect these things to go well, and we saw that Derek Chauvin was found guilty. So, I mean, that's my opinion that this was a surprise. So I guess just, leading off with that, how did you all feel? Did you all expect this to be the case? Or, how did you feel when you saw, or, if you were watching, I turned on CNN when I even heard they had a verdict. So how did you feel when you were watching, or when you heard it, when you read it? How did you feel about it? Were you surprised?
I think it was the 20th, actually, just to be correct. But
it
was Wednesday.
Because on Tuesday, that was when they deliberated, and then...
Well, no, it was Tuesday. That's when I went to the Nats game, and I remember I was driving to the Nats game, and I thought, the traffic was backed up because of the protest, but it wasn't. So it was Tuesday. But it's fine. I'll cut this out. But...
Okay, 420. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man, I mean, like you said, bro, I was surprised. I mean, I was nervous watching that whole trial, man. For one, it didn't start when it said it was going to start, which is to be expected, but just really the suspense of the whole thing, and a lot of people just really were just counting this as the many other black deaths we've seen at the hands of cops, where the cop didn't get exactly what he deserved, or definitely didn't get the full charge for what he did, and wasn't held accountable. And so watching this was really kind of that same feeling, oh, okay, he's gonna get the manslaughter charge, but he's not gonna get the other two charges, or he's only gonna get one of them, not gonna get the full sentence he deserves. And so just watching it was really a shock. It was a good shock. I can't lie. I was probably more, not gonna say I was hyped, but I just feel finally we're getting some type of accountability for the fucked up things that these cops do to us. And at the same time, that high was quickly brought down, because a lot of people that I saw was the only reason he got all three of those charges is because of the 9-minute video, because of him getting because of the girl or guy or whoever was recording that, and if it wasn't for that, he probably wouldn't got all three of those charges. So it's a little discouraging, the fact that you have to is 9 minutes the threshold. Do you have to be on somebody's 9 minutes neck for there to be a worldwide movement of oh wow, this is really fucked up, as opposed to just randomly killing black people on a whim? Is that the threshold? So it was kind of it was a short-lived victory for me, in part, but at the same time, I was glad that there was accountability, and I don't know if this was the first case that this really happened like this, but at the same time, anytime in these type of situations where there's precedent, now we have now the example is set, and we have to see this again. We have to continue to see this. I know I don't know if I can speak for all black people, but I'm not satisfied. You get what I'm saying? This could just been the one time that they really held him accountable, and that's only because it was 9 minutes. You get what I'm saying? So I just really want to see this continue. I just want to make sure that this is in fact the actual precedent, that people that cops see this and are okay, we can't just fuck around. People are recording shit. We can't just be on camera doing all what type of wild shit. That might be unrealistic to ask. You know what I'm saying? Because we've seen cops on cameras just doing whatever the hell they want. So you get what I'm saying? That's just how I felt just watching the trial.
No, I agree. I think it was a 9-minute video. It was a very clear video. There was no ambiguity to anything.
Mm-hmm.
What you saw is what happened, and it does take I think a video like that you can't. Fox News can't go and try to, frame it a certain way. They try to by saying, oh, yeah, drug the system, but whatever. But, it takes a video like that to get the result. Because, even overseas, people are protesting. the Premier League teams still take a knee before every game, and it's only because there was a 9-minute video. That is was 100% irrefutable evidence. So unfortunately, yes, that is the case. Because, I mean, personally, I can't really muster too much. It's just too much mentally just to deal with all this. Like, I didn't really watch the verdict. I didn't really keep up much with it. I was glad to see that he was convicted of, I guess, pretty much all the charges. So that was good to see. I just, at this point, I don't really have too many more words for just this type of thing. It just happens too often. And
Right.
I just don't have the strength anymore, unfortunately. It's not that I don't care. Like, I definitely care, but I just don't have any more to give to this topic. So, yeah, I'm just glad he got what he deserved. And I guess, like, the other two cops, like, their trials come up in August. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do think, I mean, things have changed since then. I mean, to what degree? I mean, I think the world is a lot more cognizant of stuff like that. But problem is, like, you kind of need a video. Every time there's a situation like that, you need a video that's just like that. And, you know, we've seen before.
Right.
Most of the time, stuff like this happens. There is a video. The person's like 15, 20 yards away.
Yeah,
or
the video is
shaky.
body cam.
Or it's like a body cam where it's like not really like a good picture or something like that. And then whenever there's that ambiguity, it gives like bad faith actors that opportunity to go in. Yeah, but he did this, he did. So I'm beaten down completely. So unfortunately,
Me, man, I felt like with the verdict, I'm not gonna lie, man. I was a little shocked because I've gotten my hopes up on previous trials before,
Right.
and I was like, what I thought was like a slam dunk, and I'm going into this like, all right, man, we finally about to get this one, and then no. So I'm not gonna lie, I was a little shocked when I opened up my Twitter or I saw the notification from from Apple News or whatever come across that he got all three charges. So with that, man, that was a sigh of relief, man. Like, I was excited because, it just shows that, the momentum behind like our movement and the things that people are going out there to protest and we're putting on, social media, we're boots on the ground and spreading, that message is working. It's just unfortunate that it has come to this point, and for us to have radical change, this is just a one stepping stone. Why does a life have to be a stepping stone to have some change? Just have open conversations about race. You know what I mean? Because like this is just the beginning. Because there's going to, as you the next day, we are dealing with a young lady that was shot by a police officer and killed. Right. And now we're now we are at another thing that we want to see next year. We want to go through that trial. And and then before that, during the deliberation, before the jury could even deliberate, we had the taser and gun situation on a black man. So it's like, I'm happy at one point that we have some justice, but at the same time, it's like I know we have so much work to do, and so many, unfortunately, God forbid, black lives to be lost, and blood to be shed for us to really have a radical change. That's what I wouldn't call that relief, but I would call it a little bit of hope, but also some deportation because I'm a little worried about what our future holds from our black people. So
I guess like piggybacking on what you said, it was like in my mind, I was. You're happy for his family that they get justice, that they get to, that they get what they wanted. Like, oh, okay, you killed this father, this brother, this son, all these other things that he was to so many different people. So they get some form of justice. I know, like, you really want that person back. You don't want justice, you want that person 9 times out of 10. But you're happy that they get some sort of closure in that situation. But outside of that, it was just like, I didn't even feel relief myself. It was just one of those things where it's just like, it was hard to feel like positive emotions. It's like you're seeing all this and you're just like, yo.
Why is it even like this?
Yeah. It's just like,
why do I need to be positive about a black man being killed and he finally gets justice?
Or it's like this. It's the one. It's like the one. It's like it becomes like the exception more so than the rule. It's like we're sitting here, we looking at it. It's like, oh, we're all excited because he was the one person, or one of a few who it's like, oh man, this person's gonna get this person's gonna he got accused, it all went right, he got the charges, and it's just like, it just hurts you and it just breaks you down. It's just like, it's like you said, it's just like, it's a reality check. And then like, to make sure we say their names, like Dante Wright got killed a couple days before, Ma'Khia Bryant got killed the day after, like during, like, like right after they get the verdict.
Chicago guy, like Adam, what's his name?
Adam Toledo. And it's just like, you have all of these people that are just like,
we're getting justice on one front.
Yeah, it's just like, you take a step forward and it's just like, you hear all these things, you see all these things, it's like you're just inundated with bad news.
Yeah.
It's all that we ever get to see, unfortunately, and it just piles on you. So you get to this point where it's like, you see people celebrate, you see a lot of people happy. I'm not going to sit around and like peeing your fucking Frosted Flakes or whatever the expression is, but it's like, like you look at this and it's just like, all right, yeah, it's good, but I mean, it's like, are we asking for too much to just ask for this to be done? Like on a consistent basis? It was like, like people like LeBron and a lot of other people, not just to single him out, but people like the hashtag and phrase accountability. And it's just like, it's like, are we asking too much for them to be accountable all the time? Because like, we're happy about one thing. Right. We're happy about one person finally getting what they deserve. Right. And it's just like, damn, like it's just this one. This is what we have. This is what we have to go on. And I'm not trying to make it sound like people were wrong for feeling bad or make it sound like, it's not a good situation that this happened or, some type of momentum. But it's just like, all right, cool. This is the one where it went right. And it's like, you can't even sit around in your heart and think that, oh man, they're gonna get it right the next time. It's like, all right, now that they got this one right, person that killed Dante Wright probably gonna go to jail now. It's just, it's like, it's a being like, it's going to be in the trade-off. Like, or it's like what happened in Atlanta. It's like, oh, okay, cool. They flipped Atlanta and made it blue. So what did they do? Changed all the voting laws in Atlanta to make sure that this don't happen no more. And it's just one of those things where it's like, every time you see this momentum or progress of any sort, everything just changes and flips back on you in so many of those things. Right. And I mean, I guess that kind of just like leads into like the other thing about, we had all these protests last summer. We're a year away from George Floyd. Last year we did our Tired episode where we talked about how we felt about all this. We did that like right around the time we was watching dudes were trying to break into CNN and like, it was wild when you thought about last year. And it's just like, you just think of it and you're just like, like after a year where you're removed from that, it's like, where do you think that we are? It's like, when we saw all of this happen last year and we saw all these people stepping forward and like taking action and putting their voices to stuff, it was just so much momentum and there was so much hope and positivity that, all right, this is the time we're really going to get change. Do you still think that that's the case? I don't know, maybe I'm a romanticist and thought that was going to be the case, but I mean, does anybody still think that's the case, or you think it's progress towards that, or how do you all feel about that?
I think it's tough. For one, with protests, a lot of them in the past have been moments. You get what I'm saying? They've been really huge moments. The Women's March after Trump got elected was a huge moment. Like what happened last year was a huge moment. So I mean, I will say, like, as far as our generation and the generation afterwards, I will say we're more involved than, like, we're very involved in what was taking place in our country. We're getting more active. We're realizing that our voice can be heard. We're realizing that we can step up, which I'm very happy about. But at the same time, and this goes to, like, we always talk about not just social media, but the advancement of technology. The attention span of a lot of people has kind of just like has been so shortened. Like when we see these headlines, and especially since we see them so often as black men, as black people, we see it was 3 murders you mentioned, like within a 2-week span by cops, and all of us had to continue to go to work. All of us had to continue to pay our bills. All of us had to continue to go about life and kind of keep our heads up and kind of keep moving and keep pushing through. And we didn't really have time to stop and process it. And so, like, a lot of people, like, even coming off these protests, there's so many of these murders that happen that people kind of just, like, forget about it, like, after a while. Like, after we protested, we go back home and we kind of go back to our normal. You know what I'm saying? That's a part that's a little scary to me. And the one with this guilty trial, and while I will say, like, it was, I consider it a big step, like, to keep them accountable. And I think, and it's sad that this is a big step because it should be the standard, right? Like, if somebody does something fucking wrong, they should be held accountable for it, right? Like, we've been put, like, on to that standard for years as black men. Like, and half the time we even do shit wrong. So, I mean, but at the same time, like, one thing that victory does, victory sometimes gives a sense of comfortable. Victory sometimes, Like when we get the outcome that we feel like should have happened in the first place, people feel like, okay, cool. Like, so things are gonna be better.
Yeah, we don't need the protest.
Okay, we don't need to give the same energy that we gave last
because
year.
they obviously get it now.
Right, they get it now. Shit is good, but that can be a big enemy of progress. You get what I'm saying? So that's my whole piece. Yeah, complacency.
So I don't know if I disagree with the whole thing, but I will say, as far as what happened last summer and all that, long term. So I always screw this up, the macro and the micro, so I'm not gonna get into that. But on the service level, as far as just stopping, black people from being killed from the police, that still happens way more than it used to.
Right.
But just you step back and just look at the things that cause like those things, like institutional racism and just everything like at a structural level, there's been a ton of change, right? I mean, more people voted in that election than have ever voted in history.
That's true.
And I don't think that happens if we didn't have a summer of protests.
That's true.
Georgia flipped from a red state to a blue state. Like, no one thought there was a chance that would happen if everything had happened last summer. Yeah. We live in a world right now that I think like is super cognizant of like social change and I mean, it's not just in America, it's in England. I mean, like it's in England, it's in China. Like you look all over, there's protests going on just about everything, whether it's racial justice. I think it really did. I don't think it's one of the things that people just forgot. Like, I think this is the culture. That last summer was one of those moments you look back and 30, 40 years from now, our kids will be watching documentaries about the summer of 2020. Yeah. And I think, again, I don't know if that's going to be able to help, like, just black people, like, not be killed, unfortunately. I think we're still going to take more time to maybe get to that. But just, like, as far as a structural view goes, I definitely think there's a ton of change that happened directly because of what happened last summer.
I agree.
So
I get that.
I mean, like honestly, I'm amazed. Like honestly, like no, I don't. It's like the last like 4 or 5 just one like a very just like as far as like laws and politics and all. It's been completely flipped on its ear, basically because of just all the protests and like there were videos of people in Asian countries and European countries and Australians supporting. And again, like if your goal is to just keep black people being killed, then like we still tons of work going. But definitely think like it definitely made an impact on the world we live in, and almost to the point where like it's almost gotten to the point where we've swung from one extreme to the next extreme here, where I think like really it's to the point now where just like we're just super duper woke, which I mean that's another discussion, but I just think like we really that was a what's the word, a paradigm shift, I guess.
No, it was. And you know what's big, and not to jump back in, but you know what's big. It's harder not to. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I spoke to our generation earlier. Like we have access to so much information. We can see everything. People can record anything. It's hard to just sit on the sidelines as opposed to 10, 20 years ago where you were like, well, I didn't see that shit. Like, shit is cool on my end. Like, I'm good. Like, my life is
you in this bubble.
I don't experience this shit, but right now you literally see what's happening, like, not only in your neighborhood, but in neighborhoods across the country, across the world. So it's hard not to just be like, I gotta get out there.
So, like, obviously people aren't people are still in the streets. There's still protests happening in DC, but, like, I went into protests in the summer. Like, I haven't done that since. Like, most people aren't gonna go out and still protest and all that. So, like, in that sense, like, that on boots on the ground, grassroots level, people probably aren't at that same level they were last summer. Mm-hmm. But in general, though, just as cognizant people are about who your politicians are, like the law, I think it's just at the structural level, I definitely think there was a very big educational level. I think there's been a very big again paradigm shift, like the phrase I used earlier. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in that case, I mean, I think there is a case to be made that there's been some real change. Now, obviously, you can really look at it at a super microscopic woke level and say, oh, Joe Biden is really no different. Whatever, that's fine. But on the surface of everything, I think things have changed for good. There's still plenty of room for improvement. Like, again, like I said, I can't, like, stop saying, like, the poor guy who, with the taser and the gun, what's the name? I couldn't look at the video. I didn't really know.
I can't watch the video anymore.
It was too much. It was too much. I don't really know the details of the story.
A stun gun versus a gun.
So like, yeah, at that level, I think I'm burned out. But do I still want to fight and do everything I can? I'm gonna vote for every election. I'm gonna get involved with politics. Hell yeah, I'm gonna try to make change. I'm trying to research how other countries do things, how other countries police, how other countries address mental health issues, how other countries address gun laws. Yes, I'm gonna do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But do I have the stomach for just going over every agonizing detail of every video? I watched the video of the poor girl who got shot the other day. I really wish I didn't watch that because I got to do the debate on Twitter. I didn't
Why you watch that?
So that was my mistake. I've had a policy of not watching the video, not really getting too deep in these cases because it's just better for my mental health and honestly just. I don't want black people getting killed, so that's all I need to
Bro,
hear.
I don't want to sit around and watch children die.
Yeah, right.
It's like what I was saying about it. You don't have to watch that. Sorry, my
Yeah,
man.
that was
that's
my
right.
mistake.
It's a different tangent.
But not to disagree with you per se, but I do think that we made change.
I wasn't saying it wasn't changed. I understand. That was What about you?
Bro, I don't know if knows.
Oh, I mean, everybody says that. That's what I know. That's what I'm saying. You got anything to add?
I mean,
Malik's Republican now.
whoa!
What? That's spoiler and surprise.
That's so disrespectful. That's like
We need a Republican on the show. We need dissent, damn it. We can't all agree.
Wow, okay. But I agree with Aaron, man. Like, Aaron.
No, tell me I'm an asshole and I'm wrong.
No, I don't want to be.
He about to say he agree with
both
both
of
of
us.
us.
I don't want to be the problem. I don't want to be the problematic one this time. Okay. I want to see how it feels to be like
The good
guy.
guy.
It feels pretty good. Yeah.
It's nice on this
It's
side.
like sunshine and rainbows over here. It's okay. Next episode.
Real fun.
But man, like for real though, like what Aaron and Darian saying, man, like I feel like there is gonna be some type of change. Like I feel like I'm really like hopeful for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Aaron saying, like we had boots on the ground, we're seeing the momentum, and I feel like the foundation and the framework is there.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I talk to Darian, I talk to Aaron, and my brothers, like we have younger brothers. We have like young brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
not you. You gotta say it. Not you, right? Not you, Dante. Y'all
Got
older.
What's the
Okay?
problem with naming
You know
niggas?
what I'm saying? But we all have like younger
Yeah.
siblings for most of us, and like when you talk to them, man, like they're so like active. You know what I mean? Like my brother is like super active in politics, and he's super like not woke, but like he's aware. Like he's more aware.
Oh, this generation after us is
So, like,
they with the shits.
I'm really pleased with the framework and the foundation that we're placing down for the next generation to take this fight
Yes.
even higher to another level.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just shows me like they don't even like you don't even vote yet, and he's already like very vocal. Next generation below us is very vocal and looking to make radical change, and and they understand it's going to impact them and their families and their future kids. So, is it a hard road? Yes, but I think it's a mantle that we've all decided we want to take upon ourselves, and change is not going. I think we understand that change is not going to happen overnight, and I think that we look at this this George Floyd situation and we see it. Hopefully a beacon of hope. Like it's kind of like a validation, unfortunately, of our work that we put in. And we'll see what happens from here. But I guess just even my other point about the relief. Like if I were to relook that, I would say if I was to spin it and look at the silver lining of the whole situation, it was just a validation of the hard work that like Maxine Waters was out there. Like a lot of people have put their Biden even called the family and gave them a statement. Like the whole world is watching America. We always are going to be the people that that the world wants to see. Like whether our struggles or our triumphs. So it's a good thing to see. So
Yeah.
I mean I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I think what I was trying to say earlier, I missed the phrase. Basically, this like the movement went corporate. Basically, when what was it, Tuesday, when literally there were National Hockey League teams The New Jersey Devils tweeted out a statement in support of George
That's
Floyd.
how you know
I
it's
mean,
big.
that's how you know, like
When the Raiders said, "I can breathe,"
But the Raiders, to be fair, his family,
they do get they were like one of the
they said
so
it was
I mean,
cool.
they said it was cool. So we guess we had to owe them an apology for that. But every sports team had to release a statement.
It's huge, bro.
Totino pizza rolls, Arby's release. I don't know, but I just
We have the meats and black people's lives matter.
Exactly. But it's corporate.
Just
Like,
look at what happened last year with all the major league teams. Like
Yes.
we've never seen that before.
You know what this is, guys? It's the black purchasing power finally getting some
It's a
recognition.
paradigm shift, like
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, we've been, you know what I'm saying, we've been spending money on these corporations, but we've gotten no, love, no type of support. And now they realize, like, if I want to get
Except
black
for
people, huh?
Except for Harvey.
We're working on that.
I'm talking about like I'm talking about where we spend our money. You know what I'm saying? Like the Nikes and the what I'm saying, like all these designers.
They have black faces.
Like they got to do that. Yeah.
So like finally, like we're starting to not be marginalized. Our money isn't being marginalized, and they understand that if they want to support the black community, they need to be supportive of our our movements and supportive of what we believe in, and understand that it's the injustice that we're facing.
The NFL realized all their best quarterbacks are black and said, "Damn,
Exactly.
guess we gotta support y'all niggas now."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like it's mainstream. Like
It's
people
very
can
mainstream,
people can protest whatever. Someone on Twitter told me that Blacked, the porn series, they released a statement in support of George Floyd as well.
Dante, I need you to verify that.
I got you. Don't worry.
Time to do some homework.
They'll do some homework. We'll find out.
Oh my
if
god!
If this statement's
Please
still
don't
up.
Google that. Our under 18 audience, don't Google that.
Oh shoot, never mind, because
Yeah,
I can't find their account. It's not as easy as you think. Because if you look up black on your Twitter search, you just get some wild stuff. So we'll look it up after the chat. But anyway,
Fair enough.
But yeah, so I mean that. Yeah, I think we've come a long way. I'm personally, I these topics, I'm mentally drained, but seeing just everything that's going on, like I hate that it's corporate now. I really do. I hate seeing the Arizona Coyotes and freaking
Tostino's pizza rolls.
Totino pizza rolls and Arby's tweet stuff like that. I think that's corny, and I think it's a little bit of content. But the fact that they're doing it and they feel the need to do that,
It's big.
that I can't hate it that much. I
I'm
guess.
really trying to figure out how Arby's working. We have the meats and something like that.
We
I
got
mean,
the black meats.
all of this is theater. Like I don't get upset when Ben and Jerry's.
We got a chitlins. We got a chitlin
Nah,
sandwich
Ben
now.
and Jerry's been with this shit.
I know Ben and Jerry's been with the shit. So like when they make a statement, it's like it's genuine, it's from the heart. But like when you gotta,
Oh, Ben and Jerry's always with the shit.
always
Yeah,
with
they've
the
been
shit.
with it.
Climate
Pull up
change
anytime.
all
On 420, Ben and Jerry's, they be coming with the heat.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they'll be playing.
Oh, it was 420 that happened because I remember I was thinking, should I post about 420 on the Hentations Instagram or about George Floyd? Chose George Floyd.
Good job, Dante.
Yes.
Maturity and growth.
I was gonna post the Ben and Jerry's thing 420 to be fair. It was gonna be like some Snoop Dogg stuff.
Oh, okay. Happy 420 from the Heritation.
So hopefully,
Light up something.
hopefully by episode 100, we'll have that'll be sometime next year. We'll have even more changed world. So that's a goal for episode 100. We have the Hentations cruise here. So instead of having like the plane, having the plane plane sound when we land the plane, we're gonna dock the cruise here.
Oh, a big ass horn.
Yeah, fully honest with you. Shoot a little bit smaller. Like say by episode 200, we'll have cruise. 100.
say,
100.
That's a round.
We don't have time for non-believers.
100 is.
All right.
I mean, 100 is.
Give that time.
We almost
Next year. Come on, man.
Something gonna change.
So, it's been episode 71 here. It's your man Shadow Cole here. I'm gonna drop the Eventbrite link in our bio. So click on that.
Man, it's Unruly DW here, just making sure at the end of the day we sit here and RIP George Floyd. And, we're all happy that you got your justice. We're not going to do that whole you sacrifice your life thing. That is a wild premise. Don't know why they said that in the first
Who
place.
said that wild shit?
More people than I like. More people than I like.
Yes.
Sacrifice?
Yes,
It
it's,
wa- it
it's
wasn't
a very,
a
it's a
sacrifice.
To
very.
be fair, his girlfriend took the same.
That's what
I
I'm
got
saying.
you.
I wasn't even trying to
I
bring
was,
her
I
up.
was gonna
but
leave her out of it
yes.
because that's his woman. I was gonna leave her out of it.
It wasn't a sacrifice, guys.
Yeah, we're not there. It wasn't. Yeah, that's not the way this goes. But R.I.P. George Floyd. Make sure you
Can't
say
say the
that.
same shit. White folks say. Anyway, it's your boy Malik, aka They Be Geekin' Lee.
And it's your boy Darian, aka Clark Kent, and these are the Hentations.
Hug your family, tell me love.
Damn, that's smooth.